Hello and welcome to this Elindos email. This is our very first Ask Me Anything, and for this first production about answering every possible question you had, you have been very nice because you asked many questions about EXODE. So this is excellent and we will begin just now. So, first of all, what is EXODE? No one asks for that, of course, but maybe there's someone here who came to view our video and do not understand spaceships on stars and planets. EXODE is a space colonization game, and you can check the links under this video to know everything there is to know about it. Now we have a community, we have players, and they wanted to dig a bit deeper into some of the concepts of EXODE, is to expect in the next weeks, and we selected almost all of these questions to be answered right now in this email. So now let's begin. So our first question here comes from Captain Palasatinia. He asked, when will the mysterious cards be designed and announced? Any hints about them? So the mysterious cards, what are they? These are legendary cards, so very powerful cards, of course, very rare actually, which have been distributed to players in their boosters. There has been some information revealed already about them. So you know there is a corporate boss, you know there is an artificial intelligence and a robot. These characters are sponsored by players and are going to receive a lot of focus. Now, why are they receiving some focus only now or a bit later? This is because there was a decision to make it happen with colonization. We wanted to focus first on the evacuation scenario and then colonization. Shino, our artist for the Kumisho or Ayumi, some of the cards I really love, has illustrated the corporate boss, and we will work on other characters next. So here comes the art of the legendary corporate boss sponsored by Crypto Eater. And here comes our second question now. From Proto26, will Legacy Rewards contain cards not in Alpha Packs? And the answer is yes, they will. Legacy Rewards are what you acquire when you complete a colonization game. And by saying you complete it, I mean that when you failed at it. What I mean by this is that colonization can really last very long, but it can also end very soon. This means that if you are not careful, if aliens find you, if you lack food, if you lack medicine, usually if you have no other player to support you and you make some risky decisions or some errors on the way, your colony may end soon. And depending on the duration of your game, you will unlock legacy rewards. Legacy rewards are provided depending on your number of achievements, and they are very important to expand your collection. Legacy rewards will contain cards and will contain rewards and bonuses which cannot be found in boosters. In some cases, you will find booster content. In some cases, you will find upgraded cards, and some of these upgrades cannot be found in boosters. Legacy rewards may include experience, exofuel, upgraded version cards, and special cards unlocked by your achievements. These cards will be bound, but some of the rewards may even be unbound and tradable. Exofuel, for instance, is a tradable currency. Which leads me to the next question. The second question from Palacetina is, what are the most relevant currencies that the game will have? It is important here to separate between two different types of currencies. There are the tradable currencies. HIVE, for instance, is a tradable currency, but for an EXODE currency, there is EXOFuel, which will be the first currency released for EXODE. There will be also other non-tradable currencies, such as experience or reputation. There will be currencies for every faction. You will be able to earn military reputation points or syndicate reputation points. And for now, I will not put them as tradable currencies, but it may be unlocked later, because it can still make sense. Experience, however, is for now a non-tradable currency. It could be said that you could earn experience and propose them for money, and it will be an interesting way to gain money. But with EXODE, we wanted people to feel that they have to play the game to progress and make advancement, and that there were already many things that they could purchase if they wanted to. We wanted purchases to be targeted toward collection, and to make sure that when there will be unbound rewards, meaning cards that are not bound, that you could trade them and earn money from it. This means that the main way for people to purchase your progress will be to purchase tradable content from you, meaning exofuel, tradable cards, any kind of assets that can be traded, and in EXODE that may be also a lot of things, considering that even assets from your colony can be traded. Question number 4 from Captain Hilebrew. Can you describe what game effects the QL of the origin cards and ships will have? So, Hilebrew asks us a very accurate question here. QL is quality level. All characters and ships have a quality level displayed on their card. This is the number in the upper left corner. For ships, this influences the quality level of all modules in it. This means that a quality level 7 ship will have QL6 to QL8 modules on average. These modules will be able to resist more damage and grant more bonuses to skills for your pilot and space crew. About Origins now, this is a different thing. In previous versions of EXODE, the quality level of Origins was immediately factored in all character skills. This means that your entire crew was benefiting from your Origins quality. However, to better test and balance natural values in character generation, this Origins bonus was later removed. We want to apply it again, but we are making calculations on what bonuses you should have for your Origin. Obviously, Origins already have the Inspire ability. Now, there are other effects to your quality level. Your Origins quality level is also factored in a large number of colonization concepts, including how hard it would be in case of a rebel in your colony, in case of an attempt to murder your origin character. You will be checked on your quality level and your origin profile to see how you are able to resist such an attempt. Question number 5 from Captain Proto26. What are your plans for physical cards? We have immense plans for physical items for EXODE. The first one which comes to my mind is a cooperative board game about the evacuation scene, with players controlling Starfleet to defend against aliens and buy some time while others are evacuating civilians and crates. I have board game experience in my background as author and publisher, so we will make it happen. However, we have to understand our priorities, and the board game is not a priority right now. About cards now, on the printing cards, I've wanted that for blockchain games, but there are also a subject to address regarding licenses. Being a publisher and a serious publisher, we know that for some artists this means purchasing extended licenses to allow to print them. As our funds are focused on developing the game itself, we did not pause yet to dedicate funding to these extended licenses. So yes, we will print cards, we will select the cards we are authorized to print, and I think it will be a great bonus and something very nice to have. Question number 6 from Space Cowboy. Is there gonna be space stations for further colonization? I mean, to get our own Aramea spot done. There are several ways for me to understand with this question. There are several large projects that players can focus their efforts on, aside from surviving or exploring or collecting resources or producing or trading or just escaping from aliens. The first big project you'll do is fixing your ship. Then people will create their own modules, then their own ships. Then people will also try to make stations on larger ships even. But here we are discussing something very different. Aramea, Evsky, and Koyatis are evacuation stations. They are in the former galaxy. So the question is, can we create our own evacuation station? And the answer is again, yes. There are plans to allow players to make their own station. Player alliances will have access to this project called their evacuation station. Thanks to this, they will sponsor people from the existing civilization to make the jump, in which case they will jump to a planned region in the new galaxy, which could be in a protected space that the player alliance wanted players to come to. And they will also receive, of course, the alliance sponsor package. So this is a way to recruit new players, this is a way to help them settle in the new galaxy, to guide them, and also to customize the evacuation station. Sponsoring the station will only be available to player alliances, and we have not determined yet what it would require or when it would be available. But they will be proposed as an option for evacuation once we will have more players. So what does this mean for a player? This means that when starting a new game, he will choose a station, and among his available options there will be the option to pick your station from your alliance. He will see your logo, your description, your goals. He will see many things that will trigger his interest in you. And I believe this is a really nice way to discover what alliances are available in the game. Question number 7 from Captain Elbrew. Will characters also grow old and die? What are the game features planned around the aging process? This is a very accurate question here about colonization. And we are entering colonization gameplay very, very soon. So this is really a good question. So as you know, you can evacuate with citizens, and among these citizens, there may be children, there may be parents, there may be people of various ages. EXODE already has planned an education system, which means that after some time, your children may learn skills from their tutor and will grow up and will become fully able citizens to whom you could give tasks. So you could educate your new scientists or your new combat pilots or anything that you feel is missing in the new galaxy. If children can grow up, you can also guess that people could also grow old. The game engine will increase the age of your characters, but will not determine that your character will meet a certain death somewhere. We don't think that losing value of your citizens in a very sure and certain way is something great. And we also do not think that, for instance, making someone die of a sudden cardiac arrest without warning you is something clever in game design. However, you will have information about the health status of your citizens, or that there are problems, there are diseases. This way you will know if a citizen could die of old age and what chances there is for this to happen. All this is a work in progress. This means that we cannot decide yet if stats should really decline in a forced way over time, because I think that this will mean that your citizen will lose value, and I don't really want that. I think there will be many solutions in the new Galaxy to preserve your characters, but we want also the game to be fair, meaning that if there are ways for your characters to not die of old age, then there should be a possibility for many players to access this. To address all of that in a good way, our current position is that values should not decline over time because of aging, that your characters may reach at some point in their age some kind of peak value and won't be able to increase their stats further, and that if there are risks to die of old age, there will be information sent to you about it, and we really don't want to focus on this risk, meaning it is no problem to us if someone can survive very long because we are in the 24th century and in a new galaxy with new technologies and medicine. Question number 8 from Captain Eyebrew. Can you elaborate a little around what level of control you will have on the colony as a player? Captain Eyebrew also added several questions here. Do you have to tell the characters everything they have to do? Will they find tasks to do on their own? What skills will be relevant on a character to determine if they follow the orders or not? And if a player does not log in for a while, what happens? How many tasks and what type of tasks will the colonists continue to do? Will they still gather food, life support and basic tasks? And a few other questions which are all related to how EXODE operates in colony management. So this is one of the most important sections of the game, and of course we have already things planned and designed for that. When your characters can act on their own when they do not have orders. And usually if you log out, if you stay away from the game for some time, your characters will first continue to gather food and the basic necessities. If you are away for longer, their productivity will start to decline, and your colony will start to decline as well. If you live for even longer, your colony will slowly be abandoned. This means that the game also adapts its flow for some kind of absence you may have. I did not want to force players to always come back. I didn't want to put pressure on players, because I think there are already some games doing that and doing a bit too much of that. But we still want to have some kind of, I would say, addiction to the game in ways that will be fun. This means that when coming back in the game, you should always have something fun to do, and you could also decide that your game session could be very short or longer. This means that if you decide to dedicate some time in the game, we'll always have things to explore. You have to give orders to characters individually. And you also know that if they don't have orders, they will still try to do things. Characters follow your orders according to their loyalty. Loyalty is some kind of known attribute. I say some kind of because normally your origin has an estimate of the character loyalty on of the character happiness. And characters with more administration will give you a more accurate estimate of that. You may also give the order to a character to study another character and have a report on this citizen. The welfare specialist especially can do that. Also, when there are events on the colony, there is a window of opportunity to make your decision about it. If you miss the window, the game will automatically pick a choice for you. Question number 9 from Captain Apprentice. What are your plans to bring in the masses to play EXODE? At the moment, the game may be a bit complex for new joiners. So this is an excellent question. Where are our 30,000 players here? They will come later. That is my answer. This is because we have the good population for an alpha. We have the appropriate number of reports and feedback. If I take the latest evacuation challenge as an example, this means that to handle as many reports for as many situations, there we need to be more developers, of course. And this is my duty here as Elindos, is to make the game as complete as possible before entering beta. And when there is beta, there will be new cards, there will be new players, there will be new platforms. We will actually go to people outside HIVE, and we will actually bring them to HIVE as well. And these new players will need something as solid as possible already, and something as feature complete as possible. This is because the more solid your game is, the less number of reports, but also dissatisfied players and wrong feedback or you receive. We need people to understand how dedicated we are to them. And for that to happen, we need to make our base as complete, as nice, and as solid as possible before getting to them. So that is the reason why I decided that during alpha we had evacuation, then we had colonization, then we refined the colonization process. And at this point, we could actually decide to enter beta, or we could also scale on what we have and add more about space combat exploration. So we'll be a decision about this at the end of the colonization process. And yes, we will be many playing EXODE, because in alpha we plan to maybe multiply by 3, 5 or 6 our current population. We have 400 accounts so far, but not as many active players, of course. And then we will use beta to make the game even better before going into full release. And at full release, I think you can already imagine the number of players who will be interested in an original game that we hopefully will have made so fun to play. Another important element is the game complexity and the UI. So regarding that, we are here in alpha in what will become later the expert mode. This is the way we give access to as many statistics, attributes, and decisions about it as possible. Later, this mode that we have in alpha will be called the expert mode, and players will have access to different starting options, which will be more simple and also which will give more visual indication about what are the crew specifics, what are your crew abilities that you have in this deck or in the entire crew of your spaceship. So this means that right now we are at the most intricate, complex version of EXODE. Also, of course, we have more bugs, but this allows us to test every part and to have feedback on every area in the game, including balance, including attributes, scales. And this really helps us to refine all that very soon in the development process and to cover more ground and make it sturdier this way in anticipation of receiving more players. On question number 10 by Captain Slabak. Most of us know you are French. Can you please share how the country's COVID-19 restrictions have impacted the development of EXODE and the challenges of being an indie developer this year? I know we all had a very special year in 2020. Every country has gone into different phases of lockdown or restrictions, or at least fear of being so. In France, we have had a lockdown in March, but also April and November, and different steps of semi-lockdown between. There are different things to say about the French way of life. French people are very focused on the quality of their life. Many people in France go out from their jobs early. In France, we have great food. I can say that French people were a bit in shock. But I was not. As an indie developer, I was already spending a lot of time on the computer. Indie developers work sometimes nearly 100 hours a week. So we really don't feel when the world stops around us, because we always feel that the world is moving too much around us while we work. So when the world paused, it was not something stressful for me. It was a bit curious, because we were like in a sci-fi movie. There is something else to say about French culture. This is that we also have a culture of artists, I think. And artists are very absorbed in their project, and I am absorbed too in EXODE the same way. And I really think that this is what a project needs. You need to have a vision, you need to want to carry it somewhere, you need to believe in this project and to dedicate all efforts to it. And all these conditions could fit into lockdown. Because with lockdown, people know something is happening. They feel it. They feel it in their guts, and they feel that they have to do something strong, that there is no turning back, and that they must go forward. Because the situation in the world is extreme, so your efforts must be extreme as well. You have to say to the world, I can do something, and this is what I will do. Also, lockdown opened a new way of life. I mean by that you can really focus on the family cell. Your children, you can have a new relationship with them. You can read things, you can learn things, you can spend a lot of time at home. In that way, I think people should take a new perspective on lockdown and try to enjoy more time with their family. Question number 11. There was no question 11, but I wanted to add that one. What is coming next now to EXODE? This is a way for me to introduce you to the new contents we are setting up. So now that we have done evacuation, even if there are some things to add there, we are now moving into the colonization phase. And I say it with a big smile, because this is really what I was looking toward. This will be the time when EXODE will be playable as an ongoing, continuous game, meaning it will be complete. We have played evacuation, which is a 15 minutes average time, and we have played it repeatedly. Now imagine what it will become when we have the full game, because evacuation has shown that it can be replayable to some extent. By that I mean that it is more replayable than it was planned. And if we do have the same kind of quality in colonization, I think we can really have a very good game. The gem I was looking for when I imagined EXODE. So this is happening. This will take, again, some time, maybe some more time than I planned, but it will be great. Aside from colonization, there will be also new collection features with new currencies appearing there, and exofuel will also appear there. We're soon having Christmas, so I wanted to send you a message of strength. I want you to enjoy your families and to know that EXODE is, I will say, of course I'm partial in this, is into good hands. I think we are really entering a great year for 2021. Thank you, captains. Thank you for your support again. This is the end of the first Elindos AMA. Sorry for my French accent, of course you have heard it all along. And see you soon in space, pilots.